Okay, Brooke. I had to redo the live stream. I'm texting you now to let you know. Yeah, I was just texting you because I wasn't sure like how soon you'd be able to get back on, but I had to just start another live stream. Um, what do you mean slow mode is on? I turned slow mode off. It shouldn't be on. Oh boy. Oh, that's all I need is weird witchy things happening today, right? Um, but yeah, what happened was I if you take the screen and you pull it down too far, the screen will go black and it thinks that you're like kind of shutting it down, or something. So, that's what happened is when I refreshed it, it killed the stream. So I had to like redo another stream is what happened. I wish this had translate view page. I was trying to see if there was any way to do the slow mode should not be on. Send a message every 3 seconds. Um, I turned the slow mode off because once I go into the slow mode box, I um, exit out of the. I go into the little box where it says 60 seconds, click on it, and then it lights up, I think, red when I erase the 60. And then I put in the number 3, and then I take the slow mode and I unclick it. I uncheck the box. So I don't know why it decided to put it on slow mode. Yeah, it should be okay, but I'm not going to try to refresh again because it'll just kill it again. So hopefully, no more incidents will happen. I had to blow out my one candle because Kalika was up here walking around and she's laying here really weird. She's laying here with her front paws out like this, and it just looks weird to me. But it seems to be comfortable for her, so it's like okay. But ow, something is keeps pulling my hair. My hair keeps getting snagged on something. Uh, ow, ow, ow. These things really hurt. Uh, and I'm glad that at least with the Carmex, like I can put it on the cold sore to help continue killing it, but then I can still use it on my lips that don't have the cold sore on them, the areas that don't have it, and it doesn't. The Carmex doesn't spread the liquid because a cold sore is very contagious in the sense that on the person, not anybody else. I mean, I've never tried it and I never would. But when I have a cold sore, if I'm not careful about touching the liquid that comes out of the cold sore and then touch another area on my face, I'll get a cold sore there. So that's what I mean by contagious. It spreads real easily, but only if the liquid comes in contact with the skin. And now my right eye won't quit itching. So hopefully the Claritin will kick in here in about 20 minutes and it'll stop itching. I say but a lot, and I noticed that. I just thought that was funny, I guess. I'm just kind of trying to, find some positives to talk about to get in the mindset of, more positive. And Chris has already started. He's got me these. And I've got like half of them gone. You didn't get to see this, but it's got a black ribbon on it, and you can tie it around your neck. It's just costume jewelry. I got it from this Motherful place that me and Steffi went to recently. And it's kind of cool because it's called Motherful, because that way you can, yeah, it is. And I've only worn it once. But the Motherful thing is, like for mothers that are struggling, that don't have, a lot of stuff for their kids and stuff like that. They can go to this Motherful place and anything there is free. You just walk in. It looks like a house. Probably was a house at one point. They just bought it and turned it into this place. And there's like a whole room of nothing but clothes. There's a whole room of nothing but coat racks and coats of different types. I got a real pretty long gray sweater that has like a pretty ruffly on it. And then, I don't know if I've shown it to you yet, but ties shut up here, which I like because, you can wear it with different things. Yeah. And I got a real pretty reef. It's a big one. I mean, this thing's like, woo, it's huge. I'll put it on a future live stream so you can see it, but I don't really have any ideas of where to put it here. Thought about trying to hang it on my door outside, outside of our apartment, the door we don't use because it's so big. Yeah, for mothers. Yeah. And so like you can go in there, you can get baby stuff if they have it. They had like a little crate that had baby clothes in it and stuff. They had a little arts crafts crate that I found 2 rolls of yarn in. So I grabbed both of those, grabbed me a neon green ring binder, 3 ring binder, because I love my neon. Found me a handful of folders. I mean, they had a crap ton of folders, but I didn't want to be greedy and just take every one that they had just because I could, like some people might do. So I just, took a handful of the folders and just kind of walked away and said, okay, I'm not going to be greedy. And then I've got this cool, it's a black round disc and it has a skull on it and it's holding up its head like this and the hand is doing something else. It's really cool. I'll show it on a future live stream. And it's a tea light holder. Like you can literally, it's a candle holder. $30 if you buy it at the store because the price tag was still on the back of it. And I was like, what? So it had to either be in a gothic shop or a witch shop or something to be that expensive. Costume shop, something like that. So I got it for free. They had a bunch of them. I only took the one because, again, I didn't want to be greedy. I got me another cool Halloween decoration. That's a box, and it has a spider and a web, and then it has 2 spiders painted on the inside of it. But the spider and the web is metal, but the metal's real bendable, real easy, because I accidentally bent one of its legs one day, so I bent it back, and I have to keep that face to the wall. When I'm not, up there, I haven't been able to hang up the skull candle holder because I can't. I would have to take it down each time because Mom and Jim both now have ganged up on me and said they don't like, in their own way, they don't like me having my religious symbols out. So when Jim, the night I spent the night there last Sunday night, Jim came up to blow up my mattress for me. And he finally said, he's like, could you do me a favor? Could you not have that stuff out? Because Pastor Toby's going to be coming up here sometime to put a door on this crawl space. Well, for one, it's the middle of winter. So I doubt very likely that he's suddenly going to come over one day. If he does, most likely I would hear him. And by the time I heard him downstairs, I would be upstairs and I could hide everything so he wouldn't freak out. So it's Mom and Jim both. I thought it was just Mom because she don't like my religion. She seems to be open about it, but yet she's still telling me you might not want to have that stuff up. unless you're up there, and Jim is saying the same thing. So I'm back to, I have to turn my little rich, yeah, it is. I have to turn my little circular one that goes on the floor. I have to turn it up over so only the back side is showing. I had to take my altar cloth, my one altar cloth, and turn it over to where the black side is showing. And then I laid some stuff on it to make it look like, yeah, I mean, I thought, I would like to think that she is, but she's not. She's open-minded about it, but that's as far as it goes. She will not call herself a witch. She will not call herself pagan even. She's read books about it so she could understand it better, which, I mean, I have no regrets on that one, because at least she knows I'm not up there doing something wrong and something evil and malicious, because why would I do that? I am not that person. I would never do that. I'm trying to keep good energy in there. I'm trying to keep good protection around there so that dark forces can't get in, and that if they try, that they'll be cast away. And it's like I have to tell Mom that every single time I come down, to trying to give her the reassurance that, I'm not doing things up there and that you think I'm doing, Mom. So I can't put up my skull decoration. I can't have my spider showing because I'm afraid they see the spider, they're going to complain about that. Isn't it a little late for Halloween? Because that would probably be their first thought. So I'm back to, it's like, you know what? The only positive here is to just make the setup of everything part of the ritual and just put it away each time so it keeps trouble down. No, I wouldn't, and it's like, I'm not going to do bad stuff. I have no reason to do bad stuff. I certainly don't want bad spirits hanging around there because, I'm thinking about Mom. I'm thinking about Jim. I'm thinking about everybody, that lives in the house, Steffi. I'm not going to unleash bad stuff. And that's what Mom seems to think. And that's what Jim seems to think. And they just, it's their way of in a roundabout way, letting me know just how they feel. And I've always known how Jim feels about my chosen religion. He's never liked it. He's always been against it. So I was doing a live stream and Holly popped on and I did a poll, asking my subscribers, should I be able to display my religious icons? And she came on and she said, no. She said, it's their home. If they don't want that kind of stuff shown in their home, then you should respect that more or less. I mean, she didn't say those exact words, but she wasn't trying to be mean or anything like that. And I know that. She was just giving her opinion on it. And she's like, Janet, it's their home. If they don't want the stuff there, then I was like, you're right. So to keep trouble down, I will just keep the stuff hidden from now on. And I will only get it out when I'm over there doing something. And I'm up there in my room. That's the only time that I will allow myself, to have any of my icons visible. So it just keeps trouble down. Because I don't need it anymore from Jim. I don't need it anymore from Mom. I don't want to hear it, because if Mom was truly supportive, in my opinion, and open-minded about my chosen religion, then she would argue with Jim and say, what harm is she doing by having her religious symbols showing, Jim? Are you really that afraid of it that you just think that it's all evil, and that unless Janet stops doing it and becomes a Baptist or a Christian, that, her chosen religion's wrong? And it's like, well, I could say the same thing about his. I could say his Baptist religion is wrong because he's a hypocrite. I hate to say it, but God's honest truth, Jim is a hypocrite. He does all these good deeds. He does all these wonderful things for the church, a lot of which he's not even asked to do. It is not his job to do, but he takes it upon himself to do them. And it gets on Toby's nerves. But until Toby has a talk with him about it and says, Jim, you don't need to do that. Let somebody else do it. I have people that are assigned to those tasks. And apparently Jim just don't want to hear that. And if this is Michael, I'm not answering. I don't know who the hell would be calling me anyway. It's a 614 number, but I just went ahead and sent it into voicemail. Because if it's a number I don't recognize, then I'm not going to answer it anyway. Because I get too many trash calls. I get too many garbage calls, people trying to sell me stuff that I don't want. Well, that's it for that Coke. And I got a kitty in my lap. Yeah, so I'm trying to give her time because, things have been really busy, and, I'm trying to give Kalika time on my lap and stuff because she hasn't been able to be on my lap a whole lot lately. And hopefully Jim won't bug me or anything and ask me later, are you coming over? Are you coming over? Because I've already told him I don't know. I just woke up, but I need more to do, while I'm there. So I'm not bored out of my mind. I mean, yeah, I could continue working on my blanket, but as soon as I get the red woven in and crocheted into it, then I'm going to put the green in it. And, I don't know. I mean, the green ball and the white ball were a lot smaller than the red one. So I'm most likely, if I'm going to use it for anything, I'm going to have to put those same colors in it again. So that I'm not going to be able to do until the 25th when my check gets loaded of this month. And then I should be able to, I'll go over and I'll get one, possibly as much as 2 or 3 if I can afford it, of the red, white, and green, because I don't know how long I'm going to be working on this piece before I determine, okay, it's done. But because originally at first I was going to try to make something to put on Mom's couch. But then I remember thinking it's going to take a lot more yarn and it would take me, it would take me months to finish one, especially when I'm not over there every day. And I don't like bringing my yarn home because when I try to do my projects here at home, then Kalika's in my lap. Kalika gets in my way. Carmela jumps up a lot of times when Kalika's in my lap, and Carmela wants to be up here too and loved on and petted and stuff. So it makes it difficult for me to even be able to do any of my yarn projects here. So I've tried to not do that. I try to just strictly do it over at Mom's because at least it gives me that to do. If I could easily find, which it's probably buried in one of the crates, so I'm gonna have to take several down just to find it. My chevron case that has, it's either chevron case or it's a notebook. I think it's a notebook, a 3-ring binder that has my Ascension stuff in it, my elemental stuff that I did for a while, and I've turned it into what I call uniquely mine. It's got pictures in it. It's got pictures of family. It's got, religious stuff in it and different things. So it's kind of like a unique book of shadows of sorts. And if I at least take that over, then I can rewrite all the stuff so that I have a copy of it there, so that when I am over there and I am up in my attic room, I can do my prayer stuff and I'll have the stuff right there to say. I will have to take my 3 tapers that I found over here. I'm gonna have to take those over, and probably my tea lights, which I only have a jar full of right now, over to Mom's. So that way I've always got some candles, but just only leave some of them there, like put some of them in my zebra stripe bag, because that's basically my magic bag right now. But that would give me some stuff to do. Maybe find my tablet and get it recharged, because I know it's deader than a doornail because so much time has passed since I last used it. And most of the time what I do on my tablet is I just read books. I've got an interesting, basically a series of books, or a batch of books on there that I've tried to figure out how to give it back to the library, because a lot of them are Wiccan books. And they're not books that I actually own. They're books that I borrowed through this one program on Amazon Kindle, I think they call it, or whatever. And it's not the audiobooks. It's books that you strictly read. So most of the time that's the majority of what I use it for, is to read books. So I could take that and maybe, read a book, on my tablet a little bit or something, just to kind of fill in the time, because, you can only find so much to talk about, and then you run out of things to talk about, so I don't want to feel awkward over there when I suddenly run out of things to talk about, and then me and mom are sitting there in silence, because that would just be awkward. Um, Not that it would be bad, it would just be awkward, because it's certainly not something I'm used to, for sure. Uh, Excuse me. Oh, excuse me again. Uh, I brought my bag home that has some of the stuff in it that I got from the Motherful place, but not very much. you know, um, yeah, because just sitting there in silence it would just be weird. It would be weird. It's like, okay, ran out of things to talk about. Now what? And just I have no clue, because I mean I have been sitting in my car before with the engine not even running or anything, and the silence was like deafening. It was so strong, and it felt like it was like this. It had this really strong intensity about it, and I completely went through my ghoul friend. Now I'm doing my vampire blood, and it actually does look like blood when you put it on your hand. It's kind of weird. But I know it's just sanitizer. And I have my silver one. I finally used up all that was in there, and I didn't want to take that lid off again and damage it, because that's the only way to refill them. And every time you do that, every time you pry it off of there, you're splitting the cap a little bit more. So, I'm trying, I just throw them away. When I empty one out, I just throw them away. And when it gets down to it, if I wish they had an easier way for these to come off. Like some of them you can kind of twist off, and then that might not be as bad. But then if they're not set up to be twisted off like that, then you have no choice. You have to take like a knife or a butter knife or something and pry up under there just to get it to pop off. And then you can refill it. So when this one's gone, I will probably go back and get me some more and just throw the bottles away. I'm going to put this in my silver little rubber holder thing, because remember I told you I said I had a silver one already, so I wanted to get a gold one. And the next time I go there, I'll get a different color, just so I have a couple different colors. And then that way, if I see the gold one, it's like, oh, that's my cactus blossom. If I see the silver, oh, that's my vampire blood. I don't even have to necessarily see the bottle. I'll see the holder and know which one it is. So, let's see, because I just, like, right now I feel like I've run out of things to say, and I'm trying to think about, something else to like talk about, or something that's still on the positive, and getting my, stuff together and make sure I take it with me the next time I go over to mom's, and then just take it back, bring it back home when I'm done, but at least get that stuff copied, onto my notebook paper, because mom gave me I think it was like a 3-subject notebook or something. So it's got several pages of lined notebook paper, and then it has like this brown blank, piece. Knowing me, I'll probably end up taping pictures too or something. I do that with a lot of, or all of my, when I get notebooks like that, when they're 5-subject or they're 3-subject, they have pockets in them. Some of them do. Very rarely, but some of them do. And then I will plaster pictures on there to make it, again, uniquely mine. I call it uniquely Janelle. Just to have pictures of happier times and pictures of family when, things were more positive and more uplifting and, funny, silly things that we would do and all that. Um, so yeah, I'm going to try to find that the next before I go over to mom's again, so that I have some stuff to do, because I'm pretty sure my 3-ring binder is in the crate, or it might even be in the black one that's buried under the table. And if that's where both of them are, then I'm going to have a heck of a time just getting to them, because I will literally have to crawl under the table to get to them, which is not going to be easily done, because I would literally have to lay flat on my stomach and, crawl across, because the coffee table I would be going under, that thing's pretty narrow, but I can fit under it this way, like here's the table. I can fit under it like this way because the table's facing that way, and then get under the card table. And that's where I think the black one is. That's where my long black crate is that I've already designated as a book crate. So that thing is difficult to lug around, and I've got it sitting on a piece of cardboard. So the cardboard, even though that crate is heavy, the cardboard makes it easier to slide across the floor, which I have to be careful, because with nails like this, fake nails, it wouldn't be much for me to snap one of them off and, take my nail with it. And I don't want to go through that. That would be a mess. There would be a lot of blood. It would hurt like hell. And then I would have to keep Band-Aids on my finger until the nail grew back. And I don't want to go through that. So, I got to find more things to do, easy things that I can take over there and do. And, so I can like pass the time and not be just sitting around there bored out of my mind, because I run out of things to talk about with mom. And when the silence gets too awkward, knowing her, she'll probably flip on the TV or something. So, and see, this computer's acting weird again, because it's showing the 2 people symbols and it's showing the 0, but then there's 1 like on it. So I'm like, what? Did it chuck Brooke off now? It's like, jeepers, what the heck? So I hope it didn't chuck you off, sweetie. I don't know why it's saying that there's 0 people on here, because you're on here, with me. So I'm not sure what's going on. It's just going to be another weird witchy day, it looks like. And yes, I have this. Good. I'm glad you are, because this thing, it's like right up there. You can't see it. It won't show up on your screen, but it's right over in that little corner. It says red box. It says it's live. There's a black box next to it that is the countdown, so you know how long you've been on. And then there's the 2 little people. It looks like people, and it tells you when someone's on or how many people are checking out the channel. And then it has thumbs up like this. So I don't know what it's doing or why, but that's just the same. That goes right up there with check your connection, and talking about the connection being unstable and all this crap, when it's not. So it might be a mess up from the towers. It shows me 0 people watching. Yeah. And it's like, oh boy. So it's being weird. I don't know what's up with it. Oh, maybe that's the spirit's way of trying to give us a chuckle, to keep the mood light. Gabriella here, sometimes I have to reposition and pose her, because she seems like she's leaning one direction too far. But, I keep her right here with me, because, I think of Faith, and I can see her behind me, and, it kind of gives me a little bit of comfort and joy and stuff. So. And it's only the 1 stuffed animal, because I want to take some more like little toys and stuff over there for Elizabeth and my other 2 ghost girls. But I would have to find like a separate bag or something to put them in, and try to keep them disguised or hidden, so I don't get the 3rd degree about that. And it's like, what? It's just a few of my stuffed animals, and they're small. They bring me comfort when I'm sitting up here, and I have some little spirit friends that are little kids. So, it gives them something to play with. I had to kill that live stream and start another one, because I shut the screen down too much, and the screen went black and it couldn't reconnect. But she's the only one on.
down for a little bit. Bella's outside finally.
Okay.
Throw me in the morning an hour. Come get me so I can get back in because it is kind of cold still.
Okay. I see my phone's going off too, so I don't know. No, probably more like notifications and stuff. I don't know what though. Let me see. Yep. More crap from Wish. Okay. That's pretty much about all I worry about is keeping it cleared off. Hey, boo. You can come up, baby, but you might want to get up on back of the couch. There's your boyfriend. Hi, baby boy. Hello. How's the boo baby? How's the boo baby? Boo boo kitty. Hello. He loves mommy's nails. He likes to be scratched on the side of his neck, and that's where I try to scratch him. You like that, baby? Yeah. Say, see, I'm okay. Hi, boyfriend. Your sissy Brooke says. I figured that would cheer you up. What you doing, baby? Yeah, you might not want to come down here. I can pet you from up there, but if you come down, then Kalika's going to get mad. Hi. Hello, baby. I know. You want to come down on mommy's lap. But you can't because mean sissy Kalika's on my lap. If you would just stop bullying him, Kalika, I would like for you guys both to be able to be here on mommy's lap. Whoa. What are you trying to bite me for? I'm not going to touch him anymore because he just tried to bite me and I don't know why. So, but at least you get to see him until he decides he don't want to sit up there no more. Then he'll get down, I guess. But what is today? Is today the 21st? Yeah, it is. Okay, so 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Good. 4 days. I was playing around with the idea of speeding up time so the 25th would get here sooner. So my check would be loaded. And trust me, if I did this incantation that I know by heart, it would do exactly that. And the 25th would be here like, psh, like so fast, it'd make your head spin. I try not to do the time speed up spell unless it's like what I determine as like a really good reason, but then I don't want to like speed up because when I speed up time, it doesn't just affect it here. I don't know if it affects anywhere else, even though I always try to add in the end and it harm no one or nothing. Let the rest of this time fly by in the blink of an eye. And that's how I end it every time I do it. But it literally speeds up time. Like I could make the 25th seem like in the blink of an eye, it's here. It's the 25th already. But I'm trying to kind of hold back because I don't know like how far this reaches when I do the spell. But it's a very long, kind of a long incantation, but I can't say it. And I'm afraid even if I typed it on here so you could have it in case you wanted to do it for something, that it would speed it up too quick or something. But anyway, yeah, it's one of the few really kick butt, incantations, I guess is a good way to call it. Good thing to call it. I learned from the evil witch. She's like, you want to speed up time? And I'm like, what? And then she said the words to me. I wrote them down, memorized them, and now I can literally speak them just on command. I can just start rattling them off, kind of like the witch's rune. When I do the witch's rune, it's a universal spell in the sense that you can ask for a certain event to take place. You can ask, like, if you want your day to go a little better and you want it to be a little happier, you want to get better quicker. It's universal. You can, when you, at the end of when you say the witch's rune, at the end of it, you make your wish, or you say your statement, give me some money blessings so you can get back a lot of the money that you've spent, helping Michael. And then that would help to replenish, your bank account a little faster. It's just real universal. Now that one should be safe, and I'll leave it up to you. If you have a wish in mind, or you have an intent that you would like to see play out, then I will let you know. I'll say, okay, that's it. That's the end of it. Then you make your wish. You don't have to write it down. You don't have to tell me. Write it down if you want, but if you're going to write it down, I would fold it up and put it in a little box or something, a little designated box that's strictly a spell box. Put it in there, put the date, put the time, put the day, even if you want, and then see how long it takes to happen. Okay, so the witch's rune goes. Now it's gonna sound really fast, but it's just because I've got it by heart. I know it by heart. Darksome night, shining moon, east, south, west, north. Powers of the witch's rune, I am here to call thee forth. Earth and water, wind and fire, wand, pentacle, and sword. Work ye unto my desire, hearken ye unto my word. Cords and censer, scourge and knife, powers of the witch's blade. Waken all ye unto life, come ye as this charm is made. Queen of heaven, queen of hell, horned hunter of the night, lend your powers unto my spell. Work thy will by magic's right, by all the power of land and sea, by all the might of moon and sun, as I do will it, so mote it be. Chant the spell and it be done. Iko Iko Azarak, Iko Iko Zamalak, Iko Iko Kernunis, Iko Iko Aradia. Iko Iko Azarak, Iko Iko Zamalak, Iko Iko Kernunis, Iko Iko Aradia. Iko Iko Azarak, Iko Iko Zamalak, Iko Iko Kernunis, Iko Iko Aradia. Ahia, Ahia, Adonahi Agla. Or Adonahi Agla, Adonahi Agla. It's Hebrew. You cross yourself, okay, and then you make your wish. So, make your wish, write it down, whatever it is you really need the most right now. Write it down, put it in a box, put it in a little spell box, forget about it. Let it let it do its thing, let it do its job. It could happen quickly, it could take a couple days. That I have no control over. I just know that I did it one time for some friends, and the one girl was able to get the day off because her and her girlfriend wanted to spend the day together, but she had to work and she didn't want to lose her job. So I did the witch's rune. I said, okay, make your wish. And then she said it. I said, say what you want. And then I repeated, I even told her, I said, you want the day off. You want somebody else to come in and take your shift, and she's like, oh my God, they couldn't believe it. They were holding hands when I can't even think of her name now. Nikki was Nikki and Danielle. I may have told you about it, but anyway, Nikki was the one that wanted the day off. I did the witch's rune. I told them to make their wish. They made it. They got the phone call immediately. And and then it was her boss saying, you don't have to come in today. We got someone to cover the shift. I was like, you're welcome. And she's like, their eyes just kind of got real big and they're like, what? I said, I told you, girls, this shit is powerful, but you better be selective how you use it, because, if you use it in some harmful manner, it could backfire on you. If you use it in some vengeful manner, same thing, because that's still harmful. Chris went to lay down, so I'm going to try to keep my voice down to him, to where it doesn't sound like I'm talking really loud, because I guess I feel like I have to, but I don't, because it's not like, I'm standing on one side of the room and trying to holler at somebody on the other. But it's very powerful and it works. And then, of course, there's the witch's reed, which I've got it up on my wall. There's the circle thing that I do. I never remember to do it a lot of times, sadly, but it's something that you say after you end a circle, and you like take a circle down, like if you've had a protective circle up because you were trying to do some magic. This is what they call releasing the circle. Actually, it's the Wiccan reed. It's called the Wiccan reed. So you get on an occult website, punch in the Wiccan reed, and if they have it, if they carry them, it should bring it up. But it's a real nice little thing, and it comes down to, and ye harm none, do what ye will. Now, some witches speculate and say, and there is a degree of truth to it, they're like, they don't say the and it harm none because it can, depending on the spell that's being done, but I don't feel that way. I feel like, but that's their beliefs. My beliefs are, as they've always been, that, and ye harm none, do what ye will. Because if you're going to do a vengeful ritual or spell or whatever, then you better be ready, to pay the consequences for doing that. And I don't want to see, something like that blow up in somebody's face. So make sure, and definitely don't ask for, like, what you got to be careful for is vengeful stuff when you're in a bad mood, or you're angry about something, which is going to put you in a negative mood. So, boards with ideas. Oh, that's pretty. Pinterest, which I wish I would have never done. I don't know why I did it. I'm just not really into it, but it brings up all these cool pictures and, Ganesha pictures and, different gods and goddesses you could probably ask for. But yeah, the Wiccan reed is nice. Like the one that you say when you release the circle, may the circle be open yet unbroken. May the love of the goddess ever be in our hearts. Merry meet, merry part, until we merry meet again. I looked up there to clarify that was all there was to it, because I haven't said it in a while. But that's a circle release thing. Oh, now it's got you listed on there as somebody watching. Oh, that's about silly, isn't it? But yeah, there's, like I said, the witch's rune, the Wiccan reed. I've got the witch's alphabet on my door as well. I never have done my little power symbols, so I have no idea what it is. If you want to know what I mean by the witch's alphabet, it's called the Theban. Here, I'll type it in for you. Theban alphabet. So again, if you're on an occult site, you can punch in the Theban alphabet, and that's basically the witch's alphabet. Silly YouTube. Yeah, exactly. So, but at least, it's registered proper now. But, there I go again. But, I feel like I should go, bump, or some crazy thing. But bump, kind of thing. Although I don't know what for. I would like do a daily card or something, but I can't really do that because Kalika's on my lap. I can't do any of my cards, read any of those because Kalika's on my lap. Can't even get up and get me a pop. I'm going to have to make her get up, and I hate to do that. But usually, if I just get up for a short time and then I come back down right away and sit down, then she'll see that I'm sitting back down and meow. She'll meow at me, and then as if to say, can I come back up, Mom? And I'll be like, come on, usually, and just let her come up. Because I'm sitting on my Harry Potter blanket this time. I ain't covering up with it because I've got pants on underneath my nightgown. I've got my sweater here on, so I'm good. So excuse me, love, while I go get me a pop, and I have to make my kitty get down. I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry. Mommy had to get something to drink. Mommy thirsty. You can just go jump down and go get you a drink of water whenever you want. Mommy can't do that. Mommy's got to, when you're on my lap, I have to make you get down so I can. Judah. Oh boy. Already. Look up, baby. Mommy don't want to hit you with the door. Yeah, Mommy going back over. Come on. If you want to come over, come back up on my lap, because I know you probably will. I'm going to show you how big these pot pies are that Chris got us. And this was dinner last night. How's that for a pot pie? That thing's like, if I put it up to my face, it would completely cover my face. These things are huge. And me, I have no problem, eating stuff cold. It doesn't have to be heated up, and we don't have a microwave. So, yeah. It's a big, big one. I mean, granted, I should probably try to hold off and let it get at least room temperature before I eat it, but I'll put the lid on it so the roaches can't get in it. It's right at the close. I can fill this up fuller now because I don't close it. And then sometimes I'll sit here and I'll drink this while it's still cold. Or I will set it aside. Whoops. Come on, get on there. I don't think these are the lids that go to this normally, but maybe they are. I don't know. So I'm going to put that there and, oh man. Crap. Thought it was smushing a bug and it was something else. Now I got a black smudge on my my dragon wolf blanket that I'm sitting on that Chris had on the couch, as you saw when you were here. Because these pot pies were so big, I actually asked Chris, I was like, damn, what did you guys do? Go to Sam's Club? Because that's the size you could find at Sam's Club. But that's pretty big. I mean, you can see how big this bowl is, and it fills it. And he said, no, he said, Kroger. I was like, what? Really? He's like, yeah. It's like, well, dang. I've never seen them before that I've ever noticed, I guess. But he bought a whole box of them. I don't know how many came in the box, but, I'd really like to know who my mystery viewer is, because it's like they come on for like a handful of seconds, and then it goes back to, there's no longer two watching, just one, you. And I'm like, well, that's weird. I just wonder who my mystery viewer is. So, just to keep a further misunderstanding from happening, Holly, hun, if you see this later and you see the bit about you, please don't take offense or take it the wrong way or anything when I said you ganged up on me, but you just helped me to think things through a little more realistically. And so I decided, yeah, you're right. It's their place. So to keep trouble down, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, sometimes it's Holly, but usually if it's Holly, she'll stay on, and talk with us and stuff. And unless she has to go or something, and for, because she's probably working or whatever, and, training her dogs or training the dogs that come to her. But, usually if it's her, it won't show her right away. And I don't know why that is, that's kind of weird too. But in conclusion, Holly, I didn't mean any offense or anything. I wasn't trying to upset you, hun. You were right. And that's what I'm doing. I turned it into a more positive experience by just setting those things up each time as part of the ceremony or part of the ritual or part of the spell to honor it. And, hopefully like balance out the energies and stuff. Yeah, she does. She usually, when she comes on, she'll just chat for however long she can, and then she usually lets us know when she's got to go. It's just, everybody loves a good mystery, and it seems like it's a harmless one, but it's just like, oh, I wonder who keeps viewing, but then they don't stay on. They don't want me to see who it is. Is that what it is? I don't know. Or is it somebody just curious and they wanted to see what this was about, so they click on it for a handful of seconds and decide, oh, this is just some chick talking about whatever, and this is not for me, and then exit out of it and go do something else or whatever. I know I've been putting a lot on this, but I don't know, like, especially when I'm drinking my pop and stuff, even though I'm using a straw, I don't know how much of it, how long before it starts like soaking in, so it can keep doing its job and then I try to wipe off the thing to make sure that there's no like accidental liquid on there, and then I touch it to another part of my lip, and then I get it there. But it literally, I don't know if you can see it, but it's like just a red mark, right? Looks like somebody hit me in the mouth or something. No, it's just this damn cold sore, and it's usually a double one, and it takes up more space and always shows up in the weirdest places on my mouth. It's always on my lips. It's usually always my upper lip. It's usually around this time of year. And again, I haven't really talked to Queen Una in a while, but I do try to put it out there, and I'll do it again. Queen Una, I'm sorry that I haven't been able to come and sit at your court and visit with you and be in the fairy realm, but I am human to a point, so I try to be respectful by not going there a lot. But if it is your unseelie court, could you please ask them to stop? Because I don't like being tormented like this, because it's always every year and it's always around the same time of year. Winter, snow on the ground. Yeah, they are. It's a weird type of bacteria. I don't even know what the name of it is, but for the most part, it usually shows up as a type of a fever blister, but then it scabs over. And as long as I constantly keep Carmex on it, and Holly even gave me the suggestion for Vicks, Vapo Rub, and I have some, so I thought, oh, I'll try it. So I've been dabbing that on there too. But the thing about using the Vicks, wait a second. The thing about, it looked like, it's like, oh man, I hope another one's not forming. That's all I need. So if it is the unseelie court, Queen Uno, will you please make them stop? Stop attacking me every single year around this time, because it was in bulk. It was February 2nd when we went through that forest, and I should not still be tormented by these spirits. And if it's some malicious spirit that happened to be there and whatever, then make it stop too, because it's messing me up. I can't close this like I normally do, which I run the risk that the roaches are going to get in, and I don't want to be, drinking from my straw and then feel a roach go down my throat. But yeah, they're awful, and I hope you never get them, sweetie, because they're hot, they're awful, and they're easy to spread. But it's a bacteria. Some type of bacteria that if I don't keep my hands washed and sanitized a lot, it doesn't take nothing for me to be touching my face or something, or especially I tend to get them around my nose. Like I'll get them around the nostrils, on top of the nostrils, underneath my nose, or inside. Now, when they're inside your nose, that's the worst, because you feel something in your nose and then it bugs you. You want to get it out, but you can't, because if you do, then it'll start bleeding and it'll hurt like crazy. And then, yeah, I don't need that agonizing pain for however long it would end up lasting. So, trying to drink two different. And now I'm dribbling pop down my chin. See, I'm doing real good. But I still haven't even had a chance to write down here on some of my notebook paper, to try and come up with a scheduled series of, teaching witchcraft on here that I will only do when subs are on. And if it's somebody that really truly wants to know about the craft and how I do it in particular, then they will benefit from it. It doesn't mean that they have to go out and do it. It doesn't mean that I'm asking anyone to sign up, because I'm not. It has to feel right within the individual witch. And if it feels completely natural to call yourself a witch, then you're a witch. It's completely natural for me, and you see me, I do nothing but good with mine. I don't call on demons. I don't mess with bad spirits. I try to keep them away from my people, away from my family, away from the house that my mother has to dwell in, away from here, so that we're all safe here. It's exhausting sometimes, the degree and excuse me, the degree and length of power and strength of power, not length, strength of power, that, excuse me, that wipes you out. You know, it drains your energy. And I definitely need to try and think about some crystals that I have here that I can take over to Mom's the next time I go, because I promised my little ghost girls a feeding station so they can feed on the crystals, and I'll keep it on my one altar by my window, up in the attic room over there. And that way and then I'll keep the blinds open. Like if I'm going to be there for the day, I'll open the blinds, I'll tie back my curtain, which I'll have to live stream up there, sometime and show you what it looks like now that I put my curtains up. And the one curtain in the middle, the piece in the middle, I crocheted myself, and I crocheted a long belt that is part of the piece that I can wrap around it and find a way to tie it so that when I want to have the blinds open so that the sunlight can come through, then that'll charge the crystals. It'll charge them during the day. And then at night, especially when it's a full moon, which we had one recently, and I don't remember if I did any magic for it or not. But the moon and the nighttime has a different energy, so it gets charged by the night. And if there's a bright enough moon in the sky and it shines through the window right on the crystals, then that's pretty powerful. But it depends on where the moon is in the sky. Was it Monday? It might have been. Let me check my phone because it has the moon phases on it. And I remember looking at it and it said waxing gibbous. And when it says waxing, that usually means full. Let me see what the moon phase is right now. Here it is. The moon phase right now is a waning gibbous. The moon sign is in Virgo. See? No, you won't be able to see that stuff probably clearly, but it has the date. And what is that flashing? Do you see that flashing? But yet when I turn it this way, I don't see it flashing. That's weird. Isn't that weird? Look at that. See the flashing up there? I don't know where that's coming from. Because when I turn the phone around to face me, I don't see it. So it's a waning gibbous. Let's see. It's 19 days. And it has the date up here. It says Friday, January 21st, 2022. Moon rise will be 9:25 tonight. Moon set will be 10:35 a.m. Illumination 85%. Distance 384,608.62. 51 now. 40, it's going down. 35 km. Moon sign in Virgo. So the way I do the moon phases is like this is why I prefer to have calendars that have the moon phases on it so that I can keep track of them. So when I want to do a particular spell and it needs to, to give it the greatest punch and the greatest strength, it has to be performed during a full moon. I go by 3 days before the full moon, the third day being the actual day of the full moon. You did moon water? Oh yeah, I've done moon water. It's called, what do they call it? There's a certain name for it. But yeah, moon water. The moon has to be full. It has to be spring water. You have to dump the water in a container that can be sat outside overnight, preferably in a spot where 1, animals aren't going to bother it, dump it out or something. 2, people aren't going to bother it. And 3, the moon has to you have to be able to look into the water and see the moon's reflection in the water. And then you imagine they call it moon foam. There's this one thing that you can do that I've never done, and I don't know that I would have the courage and nerve to ever do because of the requirements to make it. It's called lunar slime. Now, moon foam, to me, I say moon foam because it's easier to make, but the lunar slime, if you want the full-blown strength of it, has to be spring water. and everything I just listed, everything I just mentioned. And if you want the full blown stuff, you have to go to a graveyard at night, probably as close to midnight as you can get, I'm sure, but maybe not. Maybe there's a little stipulation that no, as long as it's full blown night and you can look up and go, yeah, that's a night sky. You have to get this. This is the trippy, creepy part. And this is why I don't know that I'll ever do it, sadly. You go to a graveyard that is usually sealed off to the public, but you can walk in. You go to what is considered the front entrance, strip, straight up, serious, take off all your clothes, go into the graveyard, find an oleander branch. It has to be oleander. You basically you mount the branch and you run around the graveyard several times, and it supposedly gets the attention of the moon guardians. So then if you do it right, and you have to have your water ready, you have to have your container ready, sitting there in the graveyard, wherever you stop or start or whatever. And if you do it right, then a moon guardian will come down. But then you have to negotiate. You have to negotiate and talk them into giving it to you, because this is very powerful stuff. So I call it moon foam, or the milder version of it, that I know I'm certainly more comfortable with. I'm not saying most witches, because there's probably a lot of witches out there that would be crazy enough to do the full blown. The moon foam when I do it, or lunar slime when I do it, the not so powerful version of it. Yeah. So, I drank, because you can drink it, as long as, like particles and stuff don't fall into it, because obviously you don't want to drink particles of dirt and whatnot. Depending on what it is, it might not hurt you. You can hear them practicing ringing the church bells. Yeah. But lunar slime is definitely worth having. My version, where you just have the container, the moon's got to shine in the water. I try to leave it out there as long as I can, at least a couple of hours. And then you drink it, and you can use it for all types of magic, by the way. It's universal as well. You can use it for whatever kind of magic you want to use it for. And the moon's foam, or the lunar slime, will be, it'll be very powerful. And how they say you can tell when the moon has definitely charged the water is it'll have like this certain look to the top of it. It'll have a sheen that it should have no reason to have. It's hard to describe, because I don't know that I've seen it, but it'll have a sheen on it, almost like mercury, they say. So that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be red like the mercury in thermometers or anything, but it'll have a certain sheen to the top of it. And that's how you can tell when it most definitely it has been charged by the moon. So I drank some one time, and I had a dream. And this was, God, I just remember it was back in the summer, because obviously I'm not going to try to do lunar slime in the dead of winter when it's freezing cold out. But it was in the summertime. I drank some, and I literally saw a complete full moon cycle in my head. Like, that was my dream, as I saw the moon from its beginning. I saw it growing into a waxing and then depleting down. And I was like, whoa. Yeah, this water, if your intent is focused, yeah. And if your intent is focused enough, you can have visions. You can have visions, because lunar slime's no joke. This stuff is for real. Yeah, it is. So yeah, that was an interesting experience, and I forget what the other visions were, but I think I had a few, and that was like, okay, it was, because it don't hurt you none, because it's spring water, so it's not going to hurt you none. But when it's charged by the moon, especially when it's a full moon, then it can be some pretty powerful stuff. I think people say that the sheen that I'm talking about on the top of the water, it'll look like a silvery, shimmery kind of film. And then it's like they say when you do the full blown version where you're in the graveyard, that it's literally like the moon drops right into the bucket, but it doesn't. Don't freak out. It doesn't. It's that intense. This stuff is seriously strong. I would love to have a big container of it, even if it was just one time. But we moved to West Virginia. If there's a graveyard near us that I can feel confident, and not to mention finding the oleander branch, because the oleander tree or whatever it is, I think it's like on the poisonous side. And just think, you're going to be mounting this thing and riding it around like you're on a broom and running around the graveyard. And I forget, I think it's said something like you have to run around the graveyard like 13 times or some craziness. It's been too long since I've read how to do it. So I thought, okay, I'm not doing that one. And then it gave the simpler version where, I just mentioned where you put it, you have to have spring water. It has to be a full moon. Put it in a container, put it outside where the full moon, be able to look into the surface, look into the container and see the moon reflection in the water. And then just leave it sit there, as long as you realistically can. Have it high up so a lot of animals aren't going to be able to get to it. Now, if a few of them do and they drink it, it's not so bad. But like if a cat or something jumps up there and they decide to just gulp the whole thing down for themselves, then that would be, well, there goes your lunar slime. Then you'd have to start all over. And I haven't done lunar slime in a long time, but I already missed my opportunity to do it because I know that I got that spring water. I've got a gallon of spring water sitting here waiting. And I should have done it when I first saw the moon phase was waxing gibbous, because that meant full moon. Now it's declining. So 3 days before or 3 days after the moon is full, I consider a full moon. So I will do magic within that bracket. Okay, 3 days before, 3 days after. So on the third day of the 3 days before, that means, say, like the third day falls on a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 3 additional days or Monday, Tuesday, with the Sunday being one of the additional 3. So it's a little bit of a mind, blower, not mind blower, but mind trick, I guess. It's a lot to wrap your brain around. Not mind trick. It's a lot to wrap around, to think, okay, this sounds really complicated. It's not. And it's worth it. I haven't done it in a long time, because what I do is I take the whole gallon of the spring water and put it in a big enough container. The more natural the container, the better. Like if you had a big iron cauldron that was big enough that you could fit the whole gallon in it and sit it up on top of your car, because that's what I've done before. Or if you're lucky enough and you're in a remote enough area, and again, you don't have to worry about a bunch of bugs getting it floating around the water, because I'm not going to I might keep the bugs and use them for a spell, but I'm not going to drink the water with them in it. No. But yeah, it's, and I mean, even my version, the more simplified version, that stuff can still have a good kick. It might not be as powerful as moon foam, but it still can produce some good results, for a spell and give it an extra kick. Like, especially if you're doing a money drawing one, or you're trying to do good health or something like that, So I'll have to wait. Excuse me. I'll have to wait till the next full moon. Keep track on my phone more. I wish there was some way I could get into my moon phases app and have it set me reminders that, tomorrow night's got a full moon. So at least if I wanted to cast magic that night, I could. Or if I knew it was a full moon, then I could take my lunar slime, take my water out, put it in its container, do its thing, and bring it back in, put it back in the gallon if you can fit it back in there. But then what I do is I will label it so that people know this is lunar slime. This is not just spring water. This has been magically charged by the moon. So drink lightly, drink carefully, And whatever you do, and this is just speculation, I don't know if this is what would happen or not, try to be in a good mood when you drink it, because after it's been moon charged, if you're in a bad mood, I fear that it would intensify the bad mood. Just like if you're in a good mood, if you're in a happy mood, then it will intensify that. So I really am concerned about my mom, though, because she shared with me something yesterday when it was just me and her sitting there on the couch. And it really scared me, what she said. I wanted to wait for a few minutes before I lit this other incense, so I'm not lighting too much at once and it's burning my eyes. She said, so keep this between me and you. Don't say it to anybody else. Not a single person, not Steffi, not Holly, certainly not Michael. But then if Holly sees the live stream, she'll hear it. She told me of let me put it this way. She told me of an incident that happened to her the last night she spent in the old place. I know. I'll type it, give you a minute or two to read it, and then I'll retract it. I'll remove it. So this is what she claims. I mean, I haven't even told Chris this. You'll see why. Did it come up? Did it come up on the screen? Okay, what is this thing doing? Oh, I see why. I got to get it down to, I wrote too much. Hang on, Brooke. And I'll just finish and say they walked through the wall and disappeared. But when she told me this yesterday, I wasn't sure what to think. And I can understand why she didn't want to tell just anybody. You can see why. Because she thinks that people would think she was nuts. But then there's that thing you don't want to think that, well, maybe she is. How do we know this wasn't all in her mind? I mean, I'm not saying she's a liar. I'm not saying this didn't happen. But with her having the episode that she did recently, it just really makes you think, what is going on, But they walked through the back wall into the backyard and disappeared, according to her, after this happened. I was like, whoa. She's like, you see why I don't want, I don't feel comfortable telling anybody but you, because people tend to think you're mental. Yeah. Did you read all of it? Yeah, that's pretty scary, huh? Did you read all of it? And judging by your reaction, I'll take it as a yes, but I just wanted to give you plenty of time to be able to read it, But yeah, that's pretty alarming. It's like, what? Oh, Lord. That would definitely be scary, especially if in your mind you wasn't sure if it was actually happening or if you were dreaming it or if it actually was happening. I mean, there was questions about if, that there was some good spirits there or bad spirits at the old place. So if there was indeed bad spirits, then I could see that potentially being something that a bad spirit would do to violate somebody or hurt somebody in some way. Because, I've definitely seen enough about it that there are some very evil spirits out there that do actually do that kind of stuff to people. And that's scary. I don't ever want it to be somebody I love and care about. And now it's happened to my mom. And that's, yeah, you could, whoa, Kalika, don't do that. Don't do that. You lay down. You're going to knock this thing in the floor or knock it down on your head. You need to lay down. And actually, I should probably be fucking smacking you right now because you were bothering Boo earlier, weren't you? Because I heard a scuffle in the bathroom or something. They were probably bothering him again, like they love to do. I just want to smack them both when they do it. Just to smack them on their butt or on the side of their thing and go, bad kitty. Because they do this crap too much. You guys need to leave Boo alone. Or maybe I'll shove you off my lap one of these times when he wants petted. How would you like that? Bad. You and Sissy both. Bad kitties. You're lucky I'm even petting you right now. Because if it ain't you doing it, it's Carmela, and I didn't actually physically see which one was bothering him. But it's pretty easy to figure out. Because you and Sissy do it too much. Okay, please, Goddess, let there be no roaches in my pop so I don't swallow one. Yeah, they are. They really are. They're really mean. And there's no reason for it. You need to lay down. You need to lay down, young lady. And don't be careless like your brother last night and catch your tail on fire. Because now I'm going to be afraid to have this candle lit over here because I don't want one of them getting set on fire again. I don't know how long to let this thing So I guess I don't have to get you up in an hour. You got up yourself. Chris said, if I'm laying down for more than an hour, come and get me up. I said, okay. But he's up, so he's fine. You girls need to quit. So I'm going to give it, like I said, a little bit of time to, because I don't have a microwave, I can put it in and heat it up. Lay down before I do smack you. I'm hoping this is just the dandruff. I'm hoping it's not. I haven't been using my medicated shampoo like I'm supposed to. Like I'm supposed to put it on, like get it into my scalp real good and let it sit for like 5 minutes and then wash it out, rinse it out or whatever. So maybe next time when I go to rinse it out, I'll just jump in the shower and take a shower and actually wet my hair down a little bit so I can shampoo and make it hopefully lather good enough to, get all of my scalp. Because when Carl was here and he ended up spending 3 nights at Mom's. The first night I was there, that was the Sunday night that I spent there. And I thought he was going to head back Monday morning sometime. Well, it turned out that he didn't. He didn't go back until Tuesday sometime. But when he was there that first night, he was asking me to look through his hair to see if he had them, because he said his head's been itching an awful lot and he wasn't sure if it was them or not, because he has that big bald spot on top. But then from like about, because I don't know if you've seen his bald spot, but from about here down is where his hair length is. The rest of it's bald. So that's why he wears a hat all the time, because he don't want people to see his bald spot. But then sometimes he don't care, because he's aging and that's what his hair is doing. And, he don't have the kind of money that a lot of these men sink into these hair regeneration things where, if you have a thinning of your hair, it's a good way to bring your hair back, to make it more healthy and to help it to regrow. And it's your hair. It's not implants or anything like that, which that's definitely expensive. So I tried to check his head a little bit, but his hair is so long and thick and his hair's white. So it would be just as hard to find any in his hair as mine, because mine is dark colors, but his is white. So these things, unless they show up black, I'm not going to see them easily. And then after I tried to check his head, and it's like, I don't see any, bro, but then he ended up sleeping on the couch in Mom's front room. And because of where his head was laying, because I remember looking in on him as I was going to the bathroom, because he was laying there sleeping, and I just saw that his head was sticking up and he had his hat on or whatever. I don't know how he did that. He probably had his hat over his face to kind of block out the light, because Mom and them had lights on. And I don't know if this was told to you yet or not, and I just remembered it just now. So it's kind of sad. Well, it's really sad, actually. Mom lost her yellow bird. She died sometime the morning that Mom had her episode, and I had to pick her up out of the cage and wrap her in a paper towel, put her in a plastic bag, and throw in the trash can, because there's no way for us to bury her because the ground's frozen, right now. And yeah, her little yellow bird died, and now her little other little bird's all alone. And yesterday was Maya's birthday. She's me and Maria's friend. I talked to her to wish her a happy birthday, and I let her know about Mom losing her bird, and she's like, "Oh no!" And Maria said something about Maya was asking what kind of bird is it, so we told her, yeah, it is sad. It's just smoke from the incense, so it's not a manifestation. But Maria thinks, and I don't know if Maya said something, but Maria seems to think that Maya is liable to go to a pet store and get mom another bird. We'll see. That's my concern too, is because I think parakeets they're social birds. So you want to have, if you're going to have them, you want to have at least two, so that they can, have a friend. And I don't know if two males would get along in the same cage, or if two females would get along in the same cage. But at least if you get a male and female, you may get some babies out of it. You may not, because the little yellow bird, she did lay some eggs back at the old place, but none of them ever hatched. I guess they died or before they were born, and that's even sadder. And so Maya might get her another one. If Maya hasn't brought one over there by the time I get my check on the 25th, me and Chris will go to a pet store somewhere and try to pick another pretty one for her. And if we can find a yellow one, all the better. But mom was talking about getting rid of her one that's left because she's just lost too many pets. And what mom needs to realize is, yeah, it hurts when they're gone. It hurts when they pass, but everything dies. It's part of the cycle of life. And we think that a lot of the reason why the yellow bird died was because she was just old. She was too old, because mom said that their lifespan can be between like 8 and 10 years, 12 years, something like that. But her other bird's good and healthy, looks fine. Mom said she couldn't sleep the night of her episode very good, so that probably just made the episode worse. And she had a good feeling. Listen to me. She had a bad feeling that her bird was about to die, because she was down on the floor of the cage and she had her backside to mom, so she had her back turned away from mom. And I just think that she just knew it was her time. And then mom said, well, maybe she'll be okay. And then mom laid down and tried to go to sleep. And then the next time she saw her, this poor little thing was dead in the bottom of the cage. I cried. And, mom's talking about, she's like, I've lost so many pets. And what I need to remind her is, yeah, mom, and it's always going to be that way, because everything dies. Everything is only allowed a certain amount of time on this earth, and then it has to die. It has to be reborn. Maybe you'll get another bird that'll be just like the previous one. Maybe the bird will reincarnate in another yellow bird. You don't know. But I would definitely make sure before I leave the store that it's a female. But then I feel myself questioning, should I get another yellow one specifically? Because, this bird, you saw her bird was completely yellow. Do I get a different color? Is it going to hurt her even more having another yellow bird? Is it going to help her not miss the other one so much because now she has another yellow one? So I guess I'll just trust in the goddess to lead me to the right one. Make sure it's a female, because we're pretty sure that it's a male that's in there that's left, because it's this bridge across their little beak area, that how you tell a male from a female. And I'm just saying this because I didn't know if you knew or not, but they call it the sear or the sayer. It'll be like a certain color when it's a male, and it'll be a certain color when it's female. So as long as you know the colors, then you can determine, okay, yeah, this is a female, this is a male. So if Maya don't end up bringing her one before I get my check and everything, I will definitely try to get out there and get one for her. And maybe even I can only hope that I would like to be able to get her a nice cage. She wants another cage, because the one that her bird is in, the bottom of it is real bad. It needs cleaned really bad. And mom's eyes are so bad now, she can't see to do it herself very well. The sink is down until we can figure out a way to unclog it, which we can't do unless we bring our plunger here from the house and then do it that way. The plunger ain't?
No.
I'm sorry, that's right. He said liquid foam. He said like the liquid foam drainer stuff, that's probably going to be the best route to go there. So, hopefully Jim will be able to get some or something. Hopefully it's safe to relight this. Because Kalika's finally laying down now, and I don't have to worry about her tail getting caught on fire next. So, at the same time, though, I think it's really sweet of Maya that she's at least thinking about, getting one for my mom because she feels so bad for her. And Maya, she's like, for that very reason, she won't have pets anymore herself because usually she either ends up in a place where they don't allow pets or they only allow certain ones. And she gets attached to them and then they die. And then she can't handle it because she cries forever over them. She had a dog. She was telling me on the phone she had a dog for 2 years. She got really, really attached to it and then it died. Yeah, of course it's going to be hard because when you lose a pet, it's like losing a human. You're just as attached to them. They're just as much a part of your life. But at the same time, you can't grant them immortality because it's not ours to grant. It's only for the gods, and it would have to be a very special, rare occasion that they would even immortalize a pet, I would think anyways. Oh, holy crap. Hopefully this thing is, I don't know if it's like room temperature enough yet or not, but we'll try to munch a little bit of it at least. Because me, I like the crust. I don't just take the crust off. And I hate giving Maria a piece of birthday cake because she always takes all the icing off of it and just eats the cake. Because she don't like the icing. So to me, it's like you're wasting the best part of the cake. But I understand it to a point because of her diabetes. She's got to be careful. Still kind of cold. But it's not too bad. Because the main reason why I don't want it too cold is it hurts my teeth if it's too cold. And this was the only pot pie left because I think he made like 4 of them, or there was 4 in the box or something. Man, get in there. I'm trying to keep it in the in the container it comes in. Trying not to make a mess. I think Chris is going outside to get Bella. Nope. Bella was in the hall again. A little turd. And I'm not so worried about Chris because he can always get a sandwich. There's soups in there. But that cereal didn't hold me very good. And right now, I'm trying to decide if I am in fact going over to Mom's. I need to get my nails redone, but that I'm gonna take it upon myself to do them myself this time, because I don't have $37 to go over to the beauty salon and have them refilled. Ah, this thing's moving all around in here. Trying to keep the bowl from flipping out. Flipping out of the container. I'm sorry, I zoned out for a minute because a message was coming through from somewhere. And yeah, the crust does have to me, it has a nice taste to it. Broke my heart that I had to just put Mom's bird in a bag and throw her in the trash yesterday. But I had to do the same thing when our black cat Sunny died. It was cold. The ground was hard. I had no way to bury him. So I just ended up putting his body in a bag and threw him in the trash. And his spirit has come to me many times and probably still does, and says, Mom, please stop blaming yourself. You know. But I still cry over him sometimes. Same with Moochie. And probably another thing that's going to bother me, that somebody will end up digging up Moochie's corpse or something, and especially if there's black fur traces still around and stuff, and they know that it's a black cat. I hope that yard never gets dug up. For any reason, and I hope nobody finds her remains, because that would hurt us terribly too, because there wouldn't be anything we could do to stop it. How could we even begin to prove that it was our cat? You know. when Moochie died, Chris wasn't able to be here. He had somewhere he had to go, or some appointment that day, or a run to the store. I don't even remember. But me and Maria were the ones that was with her when she passed, and she died right here on the couch. And she died over on the section where Chris sits. And I had my hands on her the entire time, just gently laying them on her. And when she cried out for her last time, and I knew she was gone, I just started bawling. I was literally screaming at the top of my lungs because it hurt so bad. And then we saw Chris pull up in the back of the building, and I sent Maria down to tell him. I said, let him know she's gone. Wrapped her in a salmon colored towel that we had, and because that was the towel that we put down for her when we knew she was dying. Because when they die, their bowels let go, and their bladder too, so they end up pooping and peeing on whatever they die on. They don't mean to. It's out of their control. It's out of their control. And I remember, I think I remember hugging Maria, and she immediately went. She wrapped Moochie very gently in the towel and just held her body up against her, and we took her over to the old place and buried her in the backyard. It's just, some tears of sadness from things past that, you can't go back and change or anything, but it still hurts, And the fact that he wasn't able to be up here when she passed was hurtful to him too. And he's the one that buried her. I wasn't even outside when he did. I guess because I didn't want to see him lay her in the ground. Because then it really finalizes things, doesn't it? That they're gone, their spirit will come back as soon as they can, if they can, and stuff. So the next solid black cat, if we end up with a solid black cat sometime in the future, whether it's male or female, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if it has a little bit of Sunny and Moochie in it. We never marked her grave, but if you were here, I could take you right there to the very spot where he buried her. And Sunny and Moochie are only two black cats that I've lost. And thanks for the love. I appreciate it. But, they say that sometimes you have to cry sometimes about it a little bit to let that sadness out. And it's also it helps you to heal. I know they're still with us. Sometimes I'll be sitting here and yeah, I know. But even if we could, I would just feel horrible digging her up after he buried her. And even if we buried her like over in the yard somewhere at the new place, there's no better guarantee that at least there we don't have to worry about anybody digging her up, because Mom and Jim's going to be there until it's their time to pass. Sometimes I'll hear them. I'll hear a very clear cat meow near me. I know it's none of our cats. None of our living cats. Because usually I barely hear it. So I know that's just one of them. It's either Moochie or Sunny or Midnight. And you'll just hear like a meow. And that's their way of saying, I'm still here, Mom. It's okay. But at the time, we didn't have anywhere else to bury her, and Mom wasn't thrilled about it. But I didn't care. We didn't care. It's like, Mom, I'm sorry, but it's the only place we can bury her. Please don't make me put her body in a bag and throw her in the trash like I had to do Sunny, because that destroyed me. And then I had to do it again yesterday when I threw away her little bird that died. I wish we could have afforded to have her cremated. But that's really expensive. We don't have that kind of money. Or I definitely would have, at least Mom. At least she was able to get the ashes of Noodle, her white cat that died, and her one dog, Frisky. Because Noodle and Frisky, they kind of grew up together. And she had them over at the old place. And they got very close. They would drink from the same watering dish. They would even eat from the same food bowl. They were very close. And Carl killed Noodle. And we know that he's the one that did it. Because she used to like to lay on the back of the chair. This one chair that Carl had at the old place. And so, yeah, at least she's got their ashes. Yeah. Um, but she was laying on the back of the chair, Carl's chair. He came home one day. He was in a crappy mood. He saw her laying there. He wanted to sit down in his chair. So instead of doing the decent thing and going over and picking her up and gently putting her down on the floor, he proceeds to backhand her off of his chair, slammed her head into the wall, and she fell down and probably knocked her out and killed her instantly. So mom keeps, Frisky and Noodle's ashes in her bedroom. But here's the thing. I've never had any of the ashes from any of my pets that I've lost. And I've lost a lot, not just cats. I've lost dogs. Ladybug was really the only dog, but then Bandit and Frisky were, I was attached to them as well. I've had hermit crabs, I've had snakes, I've had mice, I've had hamsters. Never did the guinea pigs, never did the gerbils, but I've had fish, birds. I've had a little bit of at least some. And I wish I could have got their ashes, but just wasn't doable. I buried one of my birds, the one that Midnight killed, because I had a pair of parakeets myself years ago. I was a roommate with George McCullum at the time, because I grew up, he was like a brother to me. But I was a roommate with him. We was living at this place on Burgess, which is what we call the hilltop. That, it's way like west of us. But it was a nice house, and I forget how much our rent was, but I paid half the rent and half the bills. Whenever my check would come in, I would keep us in groceries because I had food stamps and stuff. And if my food stamps got low, then we could always go to a food pantry or something. And, I had Michael at the time with me, so I wanted to make sure that I kept him in food and, clothing and everything. And I don't remember where his bedroom was. It's been too long ago, but Michael's bedroom at the time. And there was a weekend that I went to stay with some friends, and I kept my parakeets cage on this really, really super tall box. It was hollow. There was nothing in it. George wasn't home at the time, and neither was I. Had Midnight, was that Princess? No, it was Princess, my fault. Pretty sure I had Princess at the time. And she saw an opportunity and did what cats do. She jumped up, she knocked the cage in the floor. She ate one of my birds completely because I couldn't bring myself to look behind the tub because I saw a bunch of feathers, so that's obviously where she ate it. And the other one I couldn't find anywhere. Well, I was cleaning one day, and there was this love seat in the dining room, and I had picked the love seat up or something or moved it in some fashion, and there out rolls my dead bird, which was the one she didn't get. So it basically, it hid under the furniture piece so the cat couldn't get her, and it died there. So when it rolled out dead, I just started bawling. And that bird, I literally went out and dug with my bare hands, dug a grave and made a little tombstone, or tried to find some way to mark the grave. So that bird is, still in the backyard at Burgess or whatever's left of it. And I don't even know who's living there now, but I know George ain't living there anymore. He's living somewhere else. So yeah, I've lost a lot of pets. And after that, I vowed no more birds because I have cats.
Yeah.
I don't want to go through it again.
Yeah. I don't really know. I haven't done that before. No, I've never done it before, so. Wait a sec.
But I'm okay. I forgive Princess.
I doubt it.
I forgive Princess because I know she was just doing what cats do. And it explains the really bad feeling I got when I was spent the weekend at my friend's house. And then I came back and George told me what happened, and he said this is how he found the cage. And
a little bit of oil or grease, cabbage, salt, pepper to taste, and cook it for about 7 minutes till the cabbage is tender. That's it. Just a little bit.
But it's part of life. Like I said, it's part of the cycle of life. We're born, we live, we grow old, we experience life, and then we die. What was messed up or broke or whatever?
Trying to do fried cabbage. Wasn't sure how to do it.
Oh, yeah, I've never done fried cabbage, so I wouldn't be any help for sure. Fried cabbage. Maria didn't know how to do fried cabbage.
Looked it up and told her.
Good shot. Good job. He just looked it up and told her how to do it. She's like, okay. Does Janet know how? No. And Chris said, I doubt it. And he's right. Yeah, I have no clue. I would have had to look it up myself because I've never done cabbage before. So, but out of all the pets I lost, I wish I could have gotten their ashes. And what's worse is, and this is like many years into the future, one of Mom's pets that died over at the old place. I don't remember what she determined she thinks is what killed him. He was a beautiful Pomeranian. He had a beautiful color. He loved to bite at the bubbles when you would do the bubble wands. He would chase them and bite at them, and just it was adorable. And Alicia would play with bubbles with him so he could jump at them and bite them and stuff. And I got some video footage of it somewhere. Don't remember where. And Bandit got buried over on the golf course that Jim used to work at that no longer exists, that a prep school was built over top of, and a lot of other people buried their pets there as well. So I wouldn't be a bit surprised if the school is haunted by all the pets that used to be, that were buried there. And Mom, knowing that some kind of a structure is built over top of the grave of a loved one is just horrible. And I regret that, Bandit's spirit is probably definitely not at peace because now his body's going to be forever under concrete. But Mom had after Bandit died, Mom had a bad dream. She saw Bandit. He was standing on his pet bed because apparently they buried him in his pet bed that they had for him. He was standing on his pet bed and he was trying to get to Mom, but he couldn't. And she said, No, Bandit, you can't. You got to stay here. You got to stay here. And it really disturbed her. It really upset her. It hurt her, I could tell. So I hope that Bandit is not completely lost to us. I hope that Rocket can find a way to help his little spirit at least find me, so that I can then take him over there to Mom. Because now that she has Stubby, she don't want any more pets. And I hope that she decides to keep her other bird because she's wanting to get rid of it because one of them died. And I think it was Jim or somebody told her, don't get rid of your pet. Don't do that to him. I mean, it's bad enough that he lost his friend. Now he's going to lose his home. He's going to lose his mother. He's going to lose his human family. That's not right. So hopefully Mom will decide to keep him and one of us will get another little female for her that hopefully another yellow one like the one that died, or one that has a lot of yellow in her, enough that she looks very similar to the other one. These things are so big. I get half of one eaten and I'm full. So literally I can't eat anymore. Kalika, please don't step on Daddy's computer. Come on. Just be careful. So my hope is that because of all the pets that have been lost, not just my pets, but Chris, Mom, hopefully in the future or before any of our other pets that we currently have gets old enough and dies on us, we will be able to bury them because we'll be at the new place. We'll have 40 acres. We'll pick a section of that 40 acres and that will become our own pet cemetery. I wish I would have been able to show you the beautiful, huge pet cemetery they have over by it's a certain road you have to turn down, but when you know where it is, which I do, and you know where you see the graveyard because you come right up to it, and there's like a little parking area next to it. Park over there and you walk over. I've taken a bunch of pictures there. No spirits showed themselves or anything, but it's strictly a pet cemetery. Nothing but pets have been buried there. Um, and it's really, really big. It's beautiful to behold. It's got some really unique bushes and small trees on it that I can't put a name to, that I took pictures of because their flowers were so vibrant and beautiful and bright that I couldn't help myself. But at least that was a place of peace. At least that wasn't like, buried over some Native American grounds or something and then haunted and evil. Like, don't bury anything there because it'll come back and it'll be dead. It'll be dead, but it'll come back and it'll kill you, like the actual movie. Um, because when a place contains so much evil, then it shouldn't even exist. In my opinion, it should be torn to the ground because too many people, too many innocents get hurt and lost. Like the suicide forest. I think it's somewhere in Japan or something. They have, a sign. Look it up on YouTube, suicide forest, and they'll bring it up. Should bring it up. People literally go there to commit suicide. So the place is, in my opinion, the place is nothing but evil because every person that has died there, has went in there purposely to commit suicide. And it tells you on the sign, it doesn't say it in English, but someone did an English conversion of it for those of us that only read English and stuff. And it said, please think about your loved ones before you do this. Please, think twice, don't do it, don't do it. So the sign does ask people, please don't do this before they enter, but nobody can read the sign, so nobody cares. Many paranormal investigators have done investigations in the suicide forest, and it was so bad that, some of them ended up running out of there literally almost screaming because it was that terrifying. The place was just, it's evil. I mean, think about an entire forest of bodies, remains just laying on the top of the ground. No burial, nothing. Just laying on top of the ground for anybody to walk upon. Oh, yeah, I want to see that. Not. That is one place I would never go to, even if somebody paid me. Because they have these, like, I don't know if you want to call them ribbons. Some people do it with string. Some people do it with yarn. But if you follow it, like if you literally grab a hold of it and follow it to its end, you'll see a body. And they're probably going to be dead. And I don't particularly anymore want to see how somebody killed themselves because I'm sure some of them have their implements of destruction right there somewhere, if it's not just laying on the ground next to the body. And that place at night, whoo-wee, girl, I'll tell you what, no way. And that's what the investigators do. They purposely wait until night before they go investigate because it's the creepiest. One of them, a group of them was going through this, suicide forest to paranormal investigate. Nose is running, and yes, I'm wiping it on the couch. I know that's gross. This poor couch is so old, and I mean, we got it for $20, so. Oh, sinus drainage. Hate it. And I'm trying not to wipe off the this stuff that I just put on. So anyway, this particular group goes to the suicide forest. I believe they were young. They were young guys. I don't know if they were as young as teenage, but, at least in their early 20s or something like that. Maybe some of them were teenage. I honestly don't know. Well, they was going through the forest and they ran across some of these strings, if you want to call them that, these markers that people would put up so that if somebody wanted to literally, and I cannot think for a second why anybody would want to do this anyway, follow it to its end and find the body. So for every life that has, for every person that has committed suicide there, that breeds bad energy, demonic forces. I mean, they're going to be drawn to it like a crackhead with a rock the size of a bowling ball, okay? A crack rock the size of a bowling ball. So they're going through. It's getting night really fast. They start talking about the eeriness of the forest and how creepy it is and everything. And they see what looks like a guy standing up against something, or he has a tent and he puts up the tent. And, so I don't know if they tried to see if this guy was alive, but most likely he was not. They decided not to go any closer. They only got a certain distance of close. And I think during one of the shots, I was able to barely tell that, yeah, it looked like it was obvious that a guy was standing there. But he had his back to him. And they said it looked like he was standing up against a tree. So, yeah, look up Suicide Forest. Go to YouTube and, see some of the investigators. If any of them have it listed, Suicide Forest, you only need to check out one. Trust me, you wouldn't want to check out any more after that because it's just too creepy. And I cannot fathom why somebody would be stupid enough to investigate a place like that that's obviously full of evil. Because the power there is so strong already that some people, they'll start fighting, like right in the middle of the investigation. One of them will wander off, and then you never see them again because they succumb to the pull of the forest. They go somewhere and a spirit talks them into killing themselves, or I don't know. I mean, it's weird. And like the Island of the Dolls, I would never go to that place. But if you want to look it up, it's definitely interesting to watch, but it's creepy too. YouTube investigators have gone there. Island of the Dolls or Island of Dolls or something it's called. And the whole island is nothing but dolls.
Why is it chilly in here?
I don't know. I don't know, babe. I don't have a window open or nothing. But there was a little girl, because I don't remember if I've talked about this on other live streams. If I have, I apologize for the repeat. But there was a little girl that drowned near this island. And after she drowned, I don't remember if they ever found the body or not or whatever. But there was an old hermit that lived on that island. And so after this little girl drowned, dolls kept washing up right to it, making like almost like something, like if it fell off of a ship or if it was some kid's favorite toy and they were out on a boat with their family and they accidentally dropped it overboard, it would end up at this island. Nobody's been able to explain it, but endless different types of dolls, Barbies and other types, have washed ashore, and the hermit that lived there, he would pick pick up each one, and he would put it somewhere throughout the island. He would nail some from trees. He would hang them by their neck. He had a shed that had a bunch of them pinned to the inside of the shed, and it was creepy. So this guy was not English speaking, I don't think. They said he was very disturbed, and he himself died on that island. So then he became a part of it. And because of the horrible way the little girl drowned or whatever the case was, the dolls just kept coming. They kept washing up on that particular shore. And until his own death, the hermit that lived there would take the dolls. He would gather them up, however many floated up to the shore. He would gather them up and he would put them throughout the island, hoping that it would appease the spirit of the little girl. But no, that's another place that I would avoid like the plague. And it's alarming knowing that there are places out there like that, because I would never want to stumble across something like that. Oh, this looks like a cool island. Then you get out of your boat, you go explore it, and then all kinds of crazy crap happens, and you might not walk off the island because something could kill you or drive you to kill yourself. It's scary. But yeah, that's just my attempt at, a shift of focus to something else. So I'm not focusing on stuff that makes me cry, and just trying to get these toothpicks over here without knocking them under the book. I got my computer, my laptop sitting on the Great Works of Heart book that I was showing on here the other day when Holly came on. I hate when I feel hairs on my lip. I'm just getting some of the plaque and stuff off my teeth, because I don't brush enough, and I have to be real careful when I clean my teeth this way, because if I accidentally gouge myself a little bit too hard, that's all it takes for my gums to start bleeding. Yeah, thank you, sweetie. I appreciate it. Hope you enjoy those, when they do come. And I don't know what to do about this, beautiful present that you had for me that I never got because they didn't put the letter H on it. That was coming in the mail, and I never got it. So I don't know if there's any way to retrieve it. Because it was something you had gotten me for my birthday. And I remember you telling me that it would come in the mail, and it never did. And Chris found out why. That it was some jackass that didn't put the letter H on the envelope or the package. So they claim that when it doesn't have the apartment letter on it, they can't deliver it. But yet it has my name clearly on it, and that should be enough. She's apartment H. Oh, Brooke's name. Okay, see, I didn't know it was going to have your name on it. And sweetie, I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to stress you out about it or anything. It just, I know it's not your fault, and it's just their screw up because they do it all too often. And a lot of the time it ends up being the seller of the item that just happens to use Amazon as an avenue to sell it. Believe me, I am completely happy with what you did give me. I use my Lisa Frank light all the time, because remember I said I'd name her Lisa Frank. I named her Gabriella, so I think this is my unicorn's ways of both of my unicorns. Their way of saying, we love you, Janet, we're here with you. And they try their best, to give me the strength and everything to heal when bad stuff happens. And it does help. Because I can look at that and smile and go, yeah, I know I'm loved. Look at all these beautiful unicorn stuffed animals and things, lamps and different little critters around here that want me to know I'm loved and that they're with me. Yeah, and I mean, look at the pipe bottles we never got. That Maria ordered 3 of, paid for them. And they canceled the order, which we don't know why, because they were paid for. I used Maria's name. I made sure I clicked on Maria's address that very clearly had her apartment letter on it and everything, so they can't use that as an excuse, and they just canceled the order. But they didn't charge her any money for it, so at least there's that. But I told her, I said, sis, I feel bad that happened. I know it wasn't necessarily my fault or yours. It was Amazon. It was the seller that had the items. I don't know. But whoever truly is at fault, I thought, okay, I want to at least try, because I feel so bad that they didn't show up. And I know how much they meant to her, how much they meant to her daughter, because her daughter was going to get one of them. They're just little nostalgic, little items that you can like display on your shelf. Oh, check out my little metal bottle, that just so happens to turn into a tobacco pipe, Um, but it doesn't mean they have to use it for that. I mean, they can just set it up as the bottle and leave it. And I know that I'm very loved, and, that helps. And that you're very loved. And now you finally got yourself a family, and I'm glad. I'm not saying anything bad about your family, but I know you don't get on with a lot of them very good. Sorry, I'm just trying to get as much of this plaque off my teeth as I can, because it's not just the front side. I have to do the underside of my teeth as well. There's usually a lot of it. Sorry for the quiet, hun. I'll just be glad when I can find me another good dentist. That takes care sores that I can set up an appointment with and get my fillings redone because so many of them are falling out. Almost done. Like sometimes it can literally take up an entire napkin that I'm using. But it keeps the plaque off at least decently, you know. And I know I don't brush enough, and yes, it it messes with my carpal tunnel. Even though I was doing it with this hand, I was just holding the napkin with this hand. Oh, there. So, Mom's probably already determined she's not coming today. I mean, I would call her, but I don't even know that she would answer because she doesn't like to be on the phone much. So I try to call her very little. Um, but Steffi should be getting off work now because it's after 2 p.m. here. So hopefully she'll, get over there and stuff in a reasonable amount of time so that if Jim's, waiting for someone to be sitting there with Mom to make sure she don't have any more episodes and also make sure she's not there by herself before he can do his, errand running or whatever he's got to do today. But at least I got, a little bit more in my stomach, and I hope that I find my vitamins here sometime soon. Because I know I saw them one day, and then I just don't know what I did with them. They could be buried in one of these bags in front of me. My energy's drained. I feel like I could just close my eyes and go to sleep. And I'm hoping that no negative spirits have been able to get through the screen Because of the warnings a lot of YouTubers are giving people now that swear up and down that after they watched a certain episode of one of the YouTubers doing paranormal investigations, that weird stuff started happening in their house. As if the spirits just came right through from where they normally resided to a new place to haunt and people to drive out and see how, how where the weak ones are so we can play on them and, get them to kill themselves or something. Yeah, maybe. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll at least try to take a nap. Because it shouldn't be, for lack of sleep. Because, as far as I know, I slept okay. My pills kicked in when they were supposed to and helped me to fall asleep and everything. So, but yeah, I guess I'll just, I don't know, do some inner reflection, try to find something to do around here that will give me further calm, and hopefully I'll find some things that I've misplaced, like my missing bottle of vitamins, because I thought I had put them up here somewhere, but I can't see them from this angle because I'd have to make Kalika get off my lap. I still haven't got my little oil thing that goes in my lamp that Jim got me because it's laying over on the floor behind my abundance altar here. So, but yeah, I guess I'm going to go for now. Love you. Thanks for hanging out and thanks for having my back and, giving me comfort and love and hugs and everything. So I love you guys, and I guess I'll see you next time, next live stream. Hopefully it'll be a more cheerful one and I'll have some good news to report. Love you too, sweetie. Mwah. See you later. Bye.